This is SS 5.3, Demonstrate an Understanding of Volume. Now, big arrow over here. Volume is three-dimensional, 3D. And so, because it's three dimensions, it has length and width and height, we always use this little exponent right here, that little 3, to show that it's cubic centimeters or cubic meters. So when you think of a cube, like my 3D cube on the right there, it has three dimensions, length and width and height. So it's not just a flat thing, it actually sticks out, it has some depth to it. So remember to use cubic centimeters or cubic meters, cubic units of some kind when you're measuring volume. Another word for volume is capacity. How much does something hold? So you need to be able to select and justify a referent. We've talked about reference before. It's an object that you might find in everyday life that is sort of the same size as a cubic centimeter or sort of the same size as a cubic meter, something that you can kind of refer to estimate how big your object is. Okay, this next one, estimating volume by using those reference. So being able to look at something and think, I think that is about 3 cubic meters because I know how big a cubic meter is. The next one is that you could actually measure something and say, yes, it is 3 cubic meters, or no, it's slightly more than that because we measured it. So one is estimating and one is measuring. And then the last one is being able to construct a rectangular prism given a certain volume. So if I said a fish tank is 20 gallons, you could make me a fish tank with those dimensions, either by drawing it or building one yourself. Okay, if we look at the indicators, they just sort of repeat what the parts of the outcome said. So providing a referent for centimeters cubed and meters cubed, and determining the approximate volume of something that is relevant to your life, like your washing machine. Estimating the volume of a 3D object using your reference. Deciding what cubic unit is represented by a specific referent. Like if I said, my hand is 7 blueberries wide, you would know that a blueberry is roughly a cubic centimeter. And so if my hand is 7 blueberries wide, you know I'm talking about 7 centimeters. Okay, on to this last one. Construct possible rectangular prisms, which means like fish tanks, for a given volume, and identify the dimensions of each prism. Explain which prism would be the most appropriate. So if I give you a certain volume and ask you to build something, you could do that, you could draw it out, and then you could decide if that's a good size for your fish or whatever you're building. So remember that volume is 3D, 3 dimensions. So this colored block, it shows that it is 3 blocks high, and it is 5 blocks wide, and it is 4 blocks deep. So 3 times 5 times 4. Remember in the formula for volume, it's 3 dimensions, so there's 3 things here. Length times width times height. If you were to count all these blocks, you would count this row and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, that's where they're getting the 5 from. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 blocks deep, and 3 high. 1, 2, 3. For 3 blocks high. So our volume, if we were to count all of these blocks, it would amount to the same thing as multiplying 3 times 5 times 4. So let's do 5 times 4 first, because it equals 20, and I can easily multiply 20 times 3 in my head. So 5 times 4 is 20, times 3 is, well, 2 times 3 is 6, so 20 times 3 is 60. Now remember, that we are using a unit here. We'll call it blocks, because I don't know if they're meters or centimeters. They're just called blocks in this case. So 60 cubic blocks. I've put the little 3 there because that means it's 3D. There's 3 dimensions. It's a cubic measurement. All right, when we're talking about reference, let's have a look at these delicious looking blueberries. A blueberry would be about 1 cubic centimeter. I should have made that with a different color. There. 1 centimeter cubed. 1 cm3. And remember, the 3 is just little. It's an exponent. It's not the same size as all the other letters. It's smaller and it's written up above a bit. So a blueberry would be a pretty good referent, pretty good item that you might find around your house that is about a cubic centimeter. Down below, we have this awesome pink polka dot washing machine, and it would be about 1 cubic meter. So it means it's a meter wide by a meter high by a meter long or deep right here. Okay, roughly. So the polka dotted wash machine is about 1 cubic meter. So you can look at things in your life and think, how many wash machines big is that? Because you know a wash machine is roughly 1 cubic meter, so maybe the box of your truck would fit 5 wash machines. So you could say the box of my truck is about 5 cubic meters. This person seems to be holding about, what would you say, 30 blueberries? So the capacity or the volume of their hands would be about 30 cubic centimeters because they can hold 30 blueberries. There's a question in the SCMAs about a rain barrel, and so I grabbed a picture off the internet, and this particular rain barrel says it holds 190 liters. And I would say this rain barrel is slightly bigger than this tub. I don't think the tub would hold that many liters. And so maybe 150 liters in this big tub. Smaller tubs would maybe only hold about 100 liters. So just keep that in mind as a referent. A tub is probably about, one is not very big, 100 liters. A rain barrel is about 200 liters. So there's also a question about measuring items with, say, a blueberry. If you were sitting with your box of corn pops, which is about the size of a blueberry as well, a corn pop would be a good referent for a cubic centimeter. How many blueberries tall do you think the corn pop box is? Well, I'm going to guess about 30. Okay. And how wide do you think the box is? Maybe 20? And lastly, how deep do you think the box is? The box is not very deep, so probably about 5. Now we are measuring volume, and we have our 3 dimensions. Remember that volume equals length times width times height. Now, you will notice that I did not write these in the right order. I measured the height and called it 30. But when you're multiplying, it doesn't matter what order you put these in. So the fact that my height is 30 and my width is 5 and my length is 20, it doesn't matter. All we need to do is get the numbers written down. Volume is equal to 30 times 20 times 5. It wouldn't matter if we put 20 times 30 times 5 or 5 times 20 times 30. We're going to get the same answer. So I'm going to do 20 times 5 first because I know that's 100. And then I can multiply 100 by 30 in my head. Now, 30 times 100 would be putting 2 more zeros on my 30 because there's 2 zeros in 100. So if I'm multiplying by 100, it's getting bigger by 100 right there. And you can see that I now have my 3 zeros. My number is 3,000. So I think there's roughly 3,000 blueberries in this box. That's my guess. Or 3,000 cubic centimeters. So next time you eat a box of Corn Pops, you should open it up, dump it out on the table, and count all the Corn Pops. Your mom would love that.